kind of crazy.
Wow.
You guys were not in the truck.
No, look at this. Let me scooch over a little. I feel like I'm so far away.
Oh, it's because now everybody's going to be behind us because it started and
Look at
it didn't pop up there yet. Phil.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Ah,
Oh, Alicia, I'm sorry you're struggling, honey, but I appreciate that you're here.
yeah, absolutely.
Let's see who else is here. Bradley is.
Hi, Bradley.
Let's see. Oops, and I just
Well,
lost.
Sill's here. Bob is in and out. I've kind of we've been chatting back here. Hey, Ty. How are you? So, hey, Ty. I don't know if you know, but we're doing the North Idaho get together July 23rd, and I'm sure you were going to come to that.
What? Did we spelled our channel name wrong?
I don't understand that.
I think Ty is mistaking my waking up country as
Because we can farm.
We're two different channels.
We're two different channels.
But I'm on this channel too.
She started her own channel.
Yes.
So she can make the big bucks.
Brenda's here. Chuck's
Hey,
here. Hi, Chuck.
Hi, Chuck. Hi, Brenda.
Let's see. Of course, Robert Bates is here. In and out.
In and out.
Yes.
Tigger.
Sue,
Tigger Bob.
Mary.
Hey, Sue. Hey, Mary.
Idaho Blue Child.
Hey, that's a new one.
Yeah, that's a
Idaho
new
Blue
one.
Child. How are you? Thanks for hanging out with us.
Yes. Randy from Louisiana.
Hey, Randy.
Hi, Randy. Thank you so much for all the comments that you left on my channel. I appreciate that.
Apparently, our chickens are really angry that we're doing the live out here.
Well, they were quiet all day, and now they're like, being
Yeah,
very loud.
literally. As soon as we started this, they started screaming. I wonder if the tiny panther is back there.
Debbie says, hello, Kimmy and Heather.
Hi, Debbie.
Hi, Debbie. Can you read it that far away?
A little bit,
Okay,
yeah.
good.
Even without not the lot of stuff.
Always like the ball cap look.
We love it.
Yeah.
Look, I even got my safety
Well, and
glasses.
especially when we're working out in the heat,
Yeah.
it helps keep the sweat out of our eyes.
We finally had like a really good warm day.
Still, they sometimes do it when they're laying an egg, but not always. Sometimes they're just making noise to make noise.
Yeah, or if a predator's gotten in there.
Oh, the spelling thing is because a can with K. That's what it is.
Oh, I gotcha.
The spelling thing is just a cap on using the wrong letters, like quality of life.
I-
Yes.
I'm following.
I just watched your new goat face shorts project video. Looks good. Can't wait for the video on that.
Hi,
Says
Alicia.
Heather.
So on the goat face.
Yeah. Oh, I got a spider friend. Hi.
Oh, look at
Let's
there.
get you
Something
off
bit
me.
me earlier.
I don't want you on me right now.
We were taking the photo for this, and I pulled the camera up, and something bit me, and then we busted out laughing, and that ended up being the picture.
That's why those are genuine smiles. We didn't think we were gonna
Priscilla.
make it. Hi, Priscilla. Alicia says hi, Heather.
Hi.
Bradley says Missick. Hi, Heather and Kimmy. Heather, I'm gonna have. He's gonna be excited when you mill again.
Oh, I know, Bradley. We can't wait to get on the mill too. The big problem with that is my son's business has completely taken off. He has a landscaping business, and Sissy's gonna come knock over the camera.
Oh, Jimmy Johnson's here.
Oh, Uncle Jimmy. Okay, so Uncle Jimmy had a birthday.
We sang him happy birthday yesterday.
We did.
Sissy? Sorry. She just ate our other cord. I had to do that. She literally, I got to show you guys.
Look at that.
This is what she did to our cord today.
In like 2 seconds.
Yes.
I have to pick up things to throw at her. Pine cones. Pine cones will work.
So sorry, you get a lot of me in your face.
So we have a whole bunch of, as you can see, this giant tree that we have down. We have like 5 of those that are coming down for the barn garage build, and we don't have the skid loader to move them. So I don't know what we're gonna do.
Michael from New York is here.
Hey,
Hi,
Michael. Are you upstate, Sissy?
Robert said, Kimmy says you ladies spent
Michael,
all day.
I did not just call you a sissy. Because
the name
I
of
think
our
you're
goat.
new. That's the goat. She's trying to eat the camera.
Robert said, Kimmy said you ladies spent all day sunbathing.
Absolutely. See our tans?
We have some nice farmer tans. It stops right here. Yes. Hey, keto in the faces. What do you mean, Chuck?
Yeah, we are definitely losing. I
Oh,
think
you
we're
can
both
tell?
down about 12 pounds each, and we've even had cheat days.
Mexican.
Feels so good though. To
Those
be
are
losing
most
that.
of our
Yeah,
cheat days.
it really is, and it's funny because I like ice cream,
And I love Mexican.
and I haven't even had an ice cream cheat day.
Oh, that same spider's back. Let me take care of him for you. Come on.
So our topic is old style homesteading versus new style homesteading. What I'm seeing a lot of is people thinking that they have to go buy this expensive fence panelings and they have to go buy, these pens that are already made and these chicken coops that are already made and all of those things. And that to me is new style homesteading.
Yes.
The homesteading that I have kind of always done is old style homesteading, where you use what you have and like you're proud of getting stuff done cheap.
I think Idaho Blue Child's mad at you.
Why?
They said no elk meatloaf for you guys.
Oh.
I think we talked about that in the past, and now maybe we offended. So we're sorry.
What? What? We talked about what in the past?
Elk meatloaf?
Why can't we have elk meatloaf? That is really sad.
That's Idaho Blue Child.
So we spent all the last couple of days finishing up this goat pen and building it. The only thing that we have in cost, actually the screws, we already had a big box of screws. The wire, the fence wire, we already have. The electric fence wire, we already have. The insulators for the electric fence wire, we already have.
The rolled wire that goes around the inside, we already have.
Yeah, the regular fence. So basically, we did not go to the store and buy anything.
Nope. For
this fence that we're putting up, and I actually really love it. It's very rustic. It's very cute. It will be goat proof because we're running electric fence on the inside. Plus we have the wire, and we've basically made these 10-foot panels, and we've rolled the wire out on them, which will be attached and all of those things. And then we can move them around and do that kind of stuff and figure out exactly where we want a permanent fence. And that's what kind of got me to thinking is, I mean, if I would have just been like, oh, well, I can't fence these guys in a small area because I don't have the fence panels, or I went and spent the money for the fence panels, I didn't even look how much they are. But the last time I bought them, which was about 10 years ago, I had a big big giant round pen thing. And I can't remember how many we bought, but I spent like $3,000. But they were like about $110 a piece. So I'm not really sure how much they are now. So this project that we just did, the small area would have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a gate. So, and then the rolled fencing probably would have been looking at, I'm going to say $700 project that we got done for free.
So there's been a couple comments.
Okay.
So Ty says that's more like rich style homesteading. Real homesteading is about making it yourself and making it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's definitely what we're doing. Charles Brand says they use a lot of cedar trees for posts and fencing many years ago. I assume it would still work today.
We don't have cedar up here, so we have, this fence that we made, we took the limbs off of this tree, and this is a big pine. So this isn't going to last 50 years, but it's definitely going to last a few years. And what I'm thinking I'm going to end up doing, the goats have stripped the bark off of some of them, but I'll end up just shoshibaning it, which I can't pronounce, burning it. Out her nose, folks. It went right out her nose.
Out the nose is not good. Thank you, Vicky.
Yeah, so we'll just burn it. It'll last longer. You can put a wood sealer on it if you want to. this is perfect for, let's get something done now so that we can get on to the next thing, and this will last a little while. And then when we have more money and we aren't doing so many projects, then we can, get a better fence.
Harry says your luckier township will allow you to live where you're living and not have a luxury and stick-built home.
Yeah. Well, that's done on purpose. I actually just would not live somewhere that would not allow me to build.
Idaho's great for that.
Yeah, and Texas is really good for that too. Where I lived in Texas, you didn't have to get permits for anything. You could build whatever you wanted. You wanted to throw up a barn, you just did your barn. You just built your barn. In Washington, so I was there for 7 years on 20 acres, and I mean, you had to get a permit for a deck off of your house. It was just ridiculous.
Daniel Duckhead's Homestead says hello.
Hey Danielle, I've got bunny rabbits that you want to come look at. We're going to be sexing them pretty soon, and you were looking for a male, I think, right?
Here's a question: are you going to put a pitch on it for winter? Kelly wanted to know.
A what?
A pitch.
Pitch on what, honey?
On it for winter, yes.
On my fence? I'm not going to pitch my fence.
Chuck says, I think Kimmy spikes her coffee. I do not, Chuck. Lollipop Guild is not working.
Oh, they're
Robert.
not.
They are gone for about a month.
Yeah, they went to the maternal grandma's house for the month, and so I'll get them whenever they come back.
Ty says, if you're going to homestead, you really need to research the country you buy property in. A lot of county.
Yeah.
A lot of counties in the PNW don't allow you to do what you want.
They really don't. They really don't. They're super strict.
Hi, Robert O'Neill. Thank you for coming.
Hi, Robert. I think that's extremely important. I know, and a lot of people don't do it. And when they get to their place and then they're trying to do something and the county's freaking out, and then they're like, you can't have chickens, or you can't have goats, or you can't have, llamas.
Kelly says
they're sad.
It was on the goat pen that she was asking.
Well, the goat pen's just a fence, honey. So there won't be any. It's just a regular panel fence.
It's just a fence.
Yeah, we just made a fence.
They still have their goat house.
Yeah. They still have the little barn that was up last year, and if we have time, I don't know if we're going to have time, but if we have time, we're going to pull down the tarp off of this and put the wood, the OSB up and throw the tarp back on, because that was an absolute pain. This little barn was made out of a carport, a 10 by 20, basically threw the wood 2x4s on it and then added OSB, and it gave them a dry space to go into. And then we did the deep litter method all winter long. We have not cleaned that out because it's not bad in there actually. But I would want a solid roof. We did not put the OSB up like we did on the tool house.
Kelly said, I thought you guys put a roof over the top of the goat pen. That's why I was asking. Not the goat pen, the goat, the house, the goat barn. The goat barn.
But that was done last year,
yeah.
And right now we're doing the fence. We're getting the goats contained so that we can start working on the greenhouse. Ty, how's your greenhouse going? I have not seen a video on your greenhouse, so I was wondering how that's going. Super excited about getting the garden up, and we have some starts that we have lots of tomatoes, lots of stuff like that.
It's very loud.
It is loud. This is why we sit in the truck. But
where are all of our moderators? None of our
mods are here.
If you want to be promoted to moderator, send an email to Cause We Can Farms. It's actually causewecan@yahoo.com.
At yahoo.com.
There's no farms on it.
Farms.
It will get bounced back. Steele's volunteering.
Oh, nice.
From my spiked coffee. I'm not going to follow her backwards from the spiked coffee. When you use your reusable materials, I feel like you appreciate what you have more, says Heather.
You really, I'm going to tell you. So I've bought dog kennels, all of these dog kennels that I have here, I've had for the shortest period of time is 14 years. That is a purchase that I would 100% do out the gate purchase. getting on a farm if I was to do that, because I have used those for pretty much. I've had baby cows in them. I've had chickens in them. I've had dogs in them.
They are handy.
I've just had pretty much every animal that I have on the property in them. They're really easy to pop up and create a quarantine area. You know, if you're bringing in new animals and you want to quarantine them for a certain amount of time. So that's something that I would purchase, that I would really just purchase, because it was very much worth the money. And like I said, I've had them for a really long time.
A couple more questions. Harry wants to know, how much snow do you get during the winter?
So that fluctuates. This last winter, I would say we had 3 feet.
And this upcoming winter is supposed to be more severe.
They're saying this upcoming winter is going to be come sooner, and we may possibly get more snow.
Ty says his Wallapini greenhouse is on the back burner for now. Spring came late, and he needs to get other things done. Yes, we get you.
We totally get that.
We are running into the same issue.
Well, and if we were able to be on the sawmill right now, if we were able to move these logs, I don't know if we would be doing this. I think we would be milling. But right now we're just trying to get as many things as we can get done before milling, before we get these trees over there, because once that happens, then we're going to just be milling like crazy.
Yes, so we're excited for that. Susan Key says hi.
Hi.
She's here. Sue Cheryl says, I'm not a mod, but I'm here. So hi, Sue.
So we have a Sue and a Susan?
Susan and Sue. Mm-hmm.
Nice.
In Louisiana, Randy says in Louisiana they have to have a permit for everything.
Anywhere in Louisiana, or just in the county that you're in? Because I know, like, Kootenai County, which is south of us, you've got to get lots of permits. You've got to do that kind of thing. Bonners County, where we're at, it's a lot less. In Texas, where I was at, Hunt County, you know, it was, because if you were out in the county, you could just do whatever you want. If you were within the city limits, then you fell into, you know, what the city wanted you to do. And there were, surprisingly enough, so where I was living, they had come around and were like, we want to add you to, bless you, we want to add this area to Royce city limits, which was a very, very tiny town, and they were wanting to expand it. Sissy, no, bad goat. She's like offended.
Let's have votes, they said. Or goats.
Yeah. So, and pretty much everybody was like, absolutely not, because of that reason right there. If I want to build a deck, or if I want to build a shed, or, you know, something, I don't want to have to run to the county and ask permission to do it.
Ty also said, if you build raised beds out of wood and burn the wood coat in raw linseed oil, no extra chemicals in the oil to hurt the food.
Yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. We are, so this greenhouse that we're doing, we did purchase cattle panels. So we purchased 10 cattle panels. We did purchase the plastic. I am reusing some metal, some corrugated iron that I already had, to make the framing, and then the wood that I'm using, the 2x3s, are from the mill. So again, we're still trying to do as much as we can without spending a lot. But and the T braces in the center are from the mill from last year.
Robert, let's see, just lost it. Robert O'Neill says, love seeing you ladies. Glad you're still going on your homestead. Keep doing what you're doing. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
That was
I have to say, hi Janine. So I kind of joke about this all the time. Isn't this what everybody does when they retire? You know, because I'll be 50 this year, and you know, this will be pretty much my last homestead that I do. I am not going to set up another homestead. If for some reason this didn't work, I would go try to find a homestead that was already started and going, and I just had to, you know, plunk myself down in there and get started. But I wouldn't build from scratch again. I don't think.
Kelly says you don't need the windows I was going to give you.
Obviously, yes, we do.
We always need windows, honey.
So this greenhouse that we're doing right now is just a hoop house. It's just a basic hoop
Yep.
house. The dream greenhouse that I really, really want.
That we're going to be building.
Yes, and it's either going to go up next year or depending upon it. So if we get the garage barn done this year, then we'll be doing the greenhouse next year. That'll be our big project for next year. And that's a self-heating one. We're going to, dig down the 8 to 10 feet and run your lines and all that kind of stuff. And that will be done with framing and windows and all of that. So, yes.
Clark's Homestead Adventures popped on.
Hi.
Let's see. Ty says, "Don't talk about age." Shh, no talking about age. He's still 25.
Still 25?
Us too. Rebecca Touch by Yarns here.
Hey,
Hi.
Rebecca, how you doing?
Did you see the greenhouse at Clog Hill Farms?
I have not, no.
They got it free. That's from Mary.
That's awesome.
Harry, sorry. Can't speak.
Words are hard. Reading
Still
is hard.
says, this will work. Sheesh. I don't know what that's about. I must have missed something.
This homestead.
Oh.
I agree.
Bob Bates wants to know when the strawberry jam is going to be ready and where did you get it.
We have a couple of flowers coming up out of our... Okay, so I have to say, out of our strawberries, the gutter strawberries are doing the best because we've had so much rain.
Right now, yes.
Yeah. So those ones are the champions.
The pool ones kind of got drowned a little
did.
bit, but they're doing better.
They are bouncing back. We got them, everything drained, and I did get holes in them, and I thought I put a lot of holes in them, but I needed holes from the side because we've just had so much rain.
I honestly thought the best ones would be in the in those little basket things that we made, the file
I think
holders.
if they had not been knocked over and dumped, because we left them on the table after we finished doing them, and we had a ton of rain, and one of the legs sunk into the ground, and they rolled off. We should have pulled them off and had them sit on the ground, but I think they would have done. I think they would have been the best if they didn't have that trauma.
Ooh, Deborah Eberly. I don't remember seeing that
Hi,
name.
Deborah.
Hi, ladies and fam here.
Nice. Hi, welcome.
Welcome, welcome.
So, how many people on here that are watching right now are actually homesteading in some form or fashion? I think another thing that I don't think is discussed a lot is homesteading in the city.
Yeah.
Because if you look back in the days, like when my grandparents, my grandpa built houses. So he built a house, he bought a big plot, they built a house, they moved into that house, he then started building the house next door, and then basically the house, they just moved from house to house as the house was finished, and then the other one went up for sale. And so they lived on every house. There's like 2 blocks that he did that with those houses. But back then, that's when they had the Patriot Gardens, and you were expected to garden. You were expected to have a few chickens for eggs. You were expected to do what you could do during that time frame. Yeah. And there's so much material out there as far as urban homesteading and that kind of thing.
There's a couple here. My cousin, she says she doesn't homestead, but she preps in the city. So good
Nice.
for you. That's very smart.
Awesome. Yeah.
Deborah says, I'm actually a regular. Well, I didn't recognize your name, so sorry.
I can't see we'd have to bring it up close and then you wouldn't see us.
Sue is attempting to homestead in the city. She has a chicken class tomorrow. That's awesome.
Oh, nice.
Priscilla's a backyard homesteader.
Nice. Yeah.
And
Priscilla has started a channel,
yes.
So we'll put a link out after all of this gets done. I'll try to put a link down in the bottom.
Since we don't have any mods on here.
To put it up, yeah.
Oh, Connie showed up.
Hey, Connie.
Hi, Connie. And thumbs up, people.
Yes.
That would be greatly appreciated.
Yes, thank you.
City here is against chickens and farm animals, Vicky says.
I honestly, I think what's getting ready to happen where we're going to be having some food shortages. I mean, I think that's pretty obvious.
I'm not laughing at food shortages.
Yeah.
I'm laughing at Syl.
Hey, Forrest.
So funny.
So,
Forrest, hi.
I think, here comes a helicopter. I think that's going to be a really big thing with all of these, the companies, not companies, where's my brain? It's completely gone. It's literally
Food places being burned
yes,
down.
Everything being burned down. You know, the cost of gas, the cost of all of the things, and there's definitely going to be food shortages. I think that's 100% going to happen. And I think because of that, there's going to be maybe some leniency in, I can't say that we're going to have another depression, but like the big depression, but I think it's going to get a little hard here pretty soon.
Feels like I'm funny. No, he had said we had wonderful gardens and chickens in the past. So is that homesteading? That's why I was laughing.
That was back then. What are you doing now?
He's building a house, remember?
But so getting some 5-gallon buckets and starting some stuff in that. I mean, I did that. I know, Priscilla, you're doing that. Every time I've gone to I bought a new place,
Yeah.
and I didn't really know where I wanted to put my garden, or I didn't have, what could I do? I started everything just because it was like, if there's any possibility that I could get a section ready, then at least I have the start, because that's another big thing with homesteading is most homesteaders that I know, they start their seeds. They start from seeds. They don't buy plants because that's really expensive.
And that's the best way to do it, especially if you can save seeds from your own garden.
Yeah.
And keep them ready for next
I have
year.
not done that. That's a
I have done
goal
that
on me,
back when I was city gardening.
Yeah.
I would save seeds.
Yeah.
Let's see. There's a couple things. Oh, Terry's popped on. So hi, Terry.
Hi, Terry.
She says we live on a hill whose population had doubled in 20 to 30 years.
Wow.
Fully on grid in an area with wildlife facing habitat pressure.
So are you able to homestead there? Are they allowing? I was talking to
Randy, the lumber prices have come down. He was talking about he's wanting to build, but the lumber prices have stopped them because they're on a fixed income.
Well, my son was talking to some guys because he does the landscaping and stuff, and he said that the lumber prices are going to be dropping quite a bit here pretty soon.
Yes.
It's going into a buyer's market versus a seller's market, so all of those things are going to contribute and happen.
Let's see. Sil says he wants to try the hydroponic bucket system. That's pretty cool.
I have looked into that. I think that's really cool. I definitely would love to try it. One of the things that I'm really wanting to do here is try to grow as much food, not only for us, but also to feed the animals, because your beets and your kale and all of that greenery can go to the animals and so that you're not just purchasing pig feed constantly or goat feed or whatever. You're able to move away from purchasing that grain from the store and growing as much as you can. And so doing that through a few different ways. I'd like to really test out a few different growing methods.
We were pretty excited that we saw some volunteers this year.
Yeah.
We got in the garden where the ducks have been living, and there's kale coming up, there's carrots coming up.
Yeah, it's exciting.
So that was super exciting.
Yeah, because we didn't get carrots last year at all. Nothing, they didn't come up. And so the fact that those seeds kind of hung out, and then
Janine says you can get free buckets at grocery store bakeries. Now, Janine, you said that's what I did. Does that mean you did the hydroponics, or did you collect seeds, your own seeds? What was that you did?
So are the buckets that you're talking about, are they 5-gallon, or are they the smaller ones? The ones that I've seen, they're smaller, which are great for starting your stuff, but then you need to transplant. Yeah. I know my dad did the upside down 5-gallon bucket tomatoes. So he hung them, and you had your dirt, and then your tomato plant came out the bottom. He loved that. That was real big on
Jack
that one.
Henson popped on, said
Hi,
good
Jack.
afternoon from Fort Worth, Texas.
Oh, hey,
welcome.
I'm from that area. Well, not really.
Janine said,
Don't let me lie to you.
Just the 5-gallon buckets.
Got you. No, I'm from East Texas, east of Dallas, Greenville, Rockwall, Roy City, that area.
Ty says the OSB came down to $25 a sheet, but it was up to $75 a sheet, Sil said a year ago.
But it should go down to 12, which is what it was before all this craziness.
Charles says, my wife and I created mini raised beds, plus growing fruit and citrus trees. All else fails, go to the Orient.
Vicky said she's buffering. Is anybody else, are we buffering for you, or is it just Vicky?
It's not me.
Okay.
Or at least not on my thing. Let's see. There was a couple things that we missed.
Okay, well, you find them. I'm
You
gonna.
keep talking.
So, another few things that you can do, whether you're out in the country or whether you're in the city, as far as animals and meat. Rabbits, they're very quiet. They're considered more of a pet than a livestock, so you can raise rabbits, and usually in areas that they won't let you do anything else. And as far as rabbits, you can, if you learn to finish out your hides, you can sell the hides. You can trade them for, other things. You could do stuff like that. There's a lot of people that really like the rabbit hides. The meat, you cook it just as you would chicken. You use it in all your same chicken recipes.
Except for fried chicken.
And fried chicken is the one thing that I've tried, or fried rabbit, and I didn't like it. When you're craving some good fried chicken, like, you need a chicken. But, and then also the manure, which is really good for your gardens.
Bye, Ty.
Bye, Ty. Thanks for hanging out.
Thank you.
So I would say, as far as in the city, you could do that. And then also quail. Quail is also very quiet, and you can raise a whole lot of them in a very, very small area. So, as far as either starting a homestead, trying to get something that you can start filling your freezer with right now, those would be my two top get. Like, yes. Those would be my two top, because the quail, you're not going to really use the manure, but the eggs make great pickled eggs. People, again, like to buy them because they're very, very cute. But as far as they start laying eggs at 6 weeks of age.
Wow.
And they're ready to process at 6 weeks of age. So if you're incubating, I mean, a lot of the, from what I understand, a lot of the quail breeds won't really sit eggs, so you want to incubate them. So if you think about that, incubating 36 is what, or 32
That's
is
math.
Well, 32 is how many eggs hold in the incubator that we're using. So 32 eggs every 6 weeks. One quail is a serving size for an adult. So if you get the jumbo quail.
Yeah. Tim Farrell popped on. So
Hi,
Tim. Good to see you. Terry says our deer have expanded from 2 individual groups to up to 11 count by this year.
Wow.
We didn't have a cat of our own at this time, needed for rat populations left by other chickens tending practices.
Yeah. Bobby being loose has been amazing.
Yeah.
I always have a cat because living in the country, you're gonna have field mice. You're gonna have just those critters that want to get into your house, and cats are really great for that, so that you're not putting out a bunch of poison. If you're going to be free ranging, we don't want to put out a bunch of poison anyway, because then it kills, a mouse eats it, then an owl eats the mouse, and then the owl dies. But
then we go to eat the owl, and
yeah,
then it's just not good.
But we just stopped free ranging the chickens for a few reasons. One, they're just, I don't know, everywhere. Anytime I've ever tried, they come to the house and they want to poop at the house. Like, they're like, this is where I live. So we've got a ton of chicken poop that we got to take care of now all around the house, which is terrible.
And they scream in your ear in the morning.
3 o'clock, they sit on the door and crow. And we're having a real hard time with the ravens stealing eggs. And then the cougar that we had, the predator problem. So ours are now pinned up. They're not happy about it, but they're pinned up.
Let's see. Thanks, Connie. I appreciate you being on and moderating for us. I don't know where Tiffany is, Chuck. We missed her. Let's see. Apartment life in the city, and somehow our cat still brings us mice. So says.
They say that if your cat brings you kills, it's because they think you're a bad hunter. So
sorry, Sue. There's that.
There's that.
My friend's chickens are cage free. That's how ours were, Janine.
Ours were, and I've done that on and off. Kind of my favorite is to let them get out during the day, but then pen them up at night. That's my favorite. What I want to do is I want to create a pen, basically a 5-foot wide cage that surrounds this garden area. So you could literally open up all the doors and they can work the whole area and run all the way around. So they're not loose, but they still have a lot of area that they can be in.
Yes, because this is big. This is what, 200 by...
This is 200 by 200,
200
but
by
the garden area is going to be, I think we decided 70 feet by 200.
Yeah.
So that'll be the garden and the orchard. And then we can also shut them up, seed them, let some grass grow in them, and then rotate them around like that. So that's kind of...
Put a chicken door on the container house.
So they can get out.
So I think Kelly was confused about the pitched roof. That's going to be on the animals.
Chicken coops.
On the chicken coops. That way
yeah, so what we'll end up doing right now, it's flat. And that was in today's video that we showed that, right? Yeah, today's video. So what we'll end up doing is adding a 10-foot pole on one side and creating the slant, and then putting the metal roof on there and doing water collection. Yeah. The water collection will be mainly for the garden, but we can also water the animals with that. So that's what we're doing with that.
Nope.
Nope.
I don't know. Robert said nope.
Why, Robert?
Tigger Bob, you're being
naughty.
You tell him, Vicky. You tell him. Where's our moderators?
Right?
No, I'm just kidding.
So
don't kick out Bob.
I know that the chickens. So there's this. Again, this is old homesteading versus new homesteading as far as with livestock. My grandparents, what they did was it stayed on the hoof until you were ready to eat it. So basically, if you were going to have a chicken dinner the next night, so the night before, you get your chicken, you take care of it, you get it in the refrigerator, and the next day is when you would cook that chicken and eat that chicken. This real big push to grow 400 pounds of chicken meat, I understand it, because then you have... you cannot be winterizing an animal, and that's time and money and food and all of those things. So just that difference in the chickens. So the chickens that we have are Wyandottes. That's what we're hatching out. We have a few Americanas, so we're doing that cross, and we will be... I don't think I'm going to... we're just hatched out 3 dozen, or we're hatching out 3 dozen. They're in the incubator now, and I pretty much think that we're going to keep them on the hoof, as they say, until it's time to cook them, because we are off grid here, and I do not have a big freezer that's here on the property, and I don't want to be driving. So once everything's finished and set up, that may change. I may just be like, I want to only overwinter, so many birds for eggs and so many of whatever. I know with the goats, I'm only overwintering 4. That would be it. Any babies born in spring would be processed in the fall.
Tim said, are you on your property? You have good internet connection. Well, we're close to the edge of the world.
We are. We're near the edge of the world, and we finally had really good weather, so we were able to scooch up here to the edge of the world. With no rain, no wind, no nothing, so we get good internet.
Yeah, that's the only time, because during the rain and during, if you get further back in the trees, terrible.
If I scooted back to that log behind me, we would probably have no service.
Wait, why are we praying for Robert? It says prayers for... Oh, I missed something. Something big. Sorry, guys. Wade's here. Hi, Wade.
Hi, Wade. Glad you made it.
Randy, Kimmy, and Heather, if y'all don't mind, please be in prayers for me. I just found out I have COPD. Go back to the doctor next month. Oh, Randy, I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry, Randy.
Yes, of course. Absolutely. What kind of chickens Janine wants to know?
So I have Wyandottes, and we were gifted some Americanas from some people from church that were moving. They are older birds, but they still lay, and they're doing great, so we like them. We allowed the roosters to breed everybody. The Wyandottes I really like because they're an egg layer meat chicken, so they're dual purpose. if you don't know, usually when you just get a chicken that's bred to be an egg layer, so they lay longer, they lay more, their eggs are bigger. Um, they are a very skinny bird. There's actually not, when you process them, there's not hardly any meat. They're great for stock, for chicken stock and that kind of thing. Maybe you get away, sissy. Maybe some soup or something like that. But as far as having a good chicken dinner, they're not going to work. So the Wyandottes are the cross. So they're a big, chunky, fat chicken, and they also produce eggs. Their eggs are a little bit smaller. I think if you were to buy them, they would probably be the small eggs. But they're perfect as far as us. Like, we don't mind not having extra large eggs.
No. They're good. Yeah. We get plenty. We get a lot of eggs, actually.
Well, right now we have 9 hens and 2 roosters. We're getting ready to, one rooster is going here probably tomorrow.
Goodbye,
Stu is going.
Stu. And I'm not even sad.
No. And then we're going to be doing
look at me, I'm a real country girl now.
Chicken in the ground, cooking a chicken in the ground kind of thing. So yeah, look at you.
Yep. What's happening?
And I know you, as far as the places in town, they won't let you have a rooster. That's frustrating because then you have to constantly buy new chickens like every few years to keep your egg production up.
But I get it, because
roosters are loud. I mean, I totally get it. These guys start crowing at 3 a.m. And either there's a predator coming around at that time, and so they're either kind of going off about that, or I don't know, they're just jerks.
Still, waking up country's not here right now. The Kazookan girls are. Kazookan Kimmy is.
Yeah.
It's funny. Oh, it's Simon at 50 Shades
Hi,
of
Simon.
Green. Hi.
So glad you can make it. We're hanging out in our garden.
Deborah, it's not super hot. It's been in the 70s. It's supposed to get up in the 80s. Later in the week.
Yeah. But next couple of days. It did get a little bit warm while we were out. We just scooted over to the shade. Bye, Connie. We just scooted over to the shade and finished making our panels. We are getting ready to have to switch our schedule to where we get up really early and we're out working at 5 a.m. and then we slow down in the afternoon and then come back out.
Which is what we did last summer. Yeah. It worked really, really well, actually.
Yeah. It's real easy to fall into that that schedule.
We're early birds anyway, so.
Yeah. 92. What's happening in 92?
Harry. I don't know. It's 1:45 a.m.
Oh, it's 92 degrees probably.
Oh. Simon, where are you again, honey? I know you're on the other side of the world.
Yeah.
But I don't remember where. 92 here today, Harry says. Wow, that is hot. 108 in Vegas, Heather says.
Heather, I
can't. I couldn't work in that.
That is a reason why I left Texas. Because
UK, that's
it's just
I knew that.
Way too hot. And I actually heat stroke real bad, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. I need to go somewhere cooler. Yeah. So, as 100%, the reason why I left Texas was the heat.
Let's see.
Texas, though, is, going back to homesteading, because I'm really going to try and stay on this topic. I think it's a really important topic. Yeah. There's a big difference in, like, homesteading in Texas. We put our garden in the ground Valentine's Day weekend. And you were harvesting all the way. Your Thanksgiving dinner was basically harvesting out of your own personal garden. And then we would get the freeze and you'd be done. So you could really homestead there, eating fresh vegetables most of the time, only having to put away a small amount for winter time. Here, we have a much shorter season. We're going to have to grow more so that we can preserve more.
Yes.
I really, really, really want to harvest freeze dryer.
Yes.
Because the quality of the food with that is just amazing, even versus dehydrating and canning. But, we're getting our fruit trees in. We've got our strawberries going. We have some um, red raspberries that will be sticking in the ground here pretty soon. They're in the water, hopefully sprouting roots. But just really trying to get those things because we're not going to be able to get those at the grocery store. Or if they're there, they're going to be so expensive that you just can't even afford them.
And that's why this greenhouse is imperative.
Yeah.
That's why we've cut back on the shipping container build, because this is more of a priority right now, and we have cleared a ton of space. We have been working really hard at it.
So we've got a little bit more burning to do, but I think in the next couple of days, well, we were working on getting these goats put away so that we can start working on the greenhouse because they're super destructive. So you can't really.
They are. They really are.
You can't really.
I love them, but they are.
Yeah. So the other thing that's as far as homesteading, and animals, maybe if you're wanting to raise meat or whatever, if you have, I've always had 20 acres. That's been my basically in Texas. One of my places in Texas, I only had 10 acres, and that was closer to town, but that was all I could afford at the time. But normally I have 20 acres, and I literally in every one of the places that I was at, I pretty much only used about 3 acres. So because I didn't do cattle. So if you're going to do cattle, you're going to do big, you need to have that grazing area. And you can definitely, even if you had more, you could bale your own hay.
How about sheep?
You could, well, I mean, it depends upon the size of your herd. So even with my herd in Texas, because I seeded the area, the goats and sheep would fertilize the area. And if you have if you're able to rotate them, so I had about a 3 acre area, and I sectioned that into 4 yards. I heavily seeded. They came through, and I rotational grazed them. They were permanent fencing, and I would just open them up into a new area, and then those other 3 would have an entire month to overgrow. And, so it just kind of turned around. I did not have to purchase hay until October, or I didn't have to start feeding hay until October in Washington. And as soon as grass was started growing, I was able to stop feeding hay on them. But there are particular breeds. I think your goal in homesteading as far as overwintering animals is to feed the least amount of animals, because that costs money. So if you're over the winter time where you don't have grass, you don't have that kind of thing, and you're needing to purchase hay, and you're needing to store hay, and you're needing to all those things, that all costs a lot of money. So my personal goal is to look at an animal and say, there's actually sheep breeds that only produce 1, right? But there's also sheep breeds that produce litters. They're known for producing 4 babies every time they breed, starting their first time out. And and I cannot remember the name of the breed, but there's a breed in Texas that I had, and so I was getting into Dorpers. Dorpers were a South African Dorper sheep. They're a hair sheep. They're a meat sheep. They have a very mild taste, flavor to the meat, but they're very expensive. So I paid about $700 for a ram.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I got these other 2 ewes that produced these litters. And so he was bred to those 2 girls. I then had 50-50 crosses. And then what I ended up doing was trading him for another Dorper ram, and was able to create this herd pretty quickly. And then I actually only had to overwinter very few. So I got a large amount for meat production, for my freezer, but I was really only, if I didn't try to keep that herd, I would have been housing 3 sheep over winter. But then in the spring, I would have added 8 more sheep. Wow. Just by them giving birth. So then that means you have 8 sheep to go into your personal freezer or to sell or whatever. Goats, it's La Manchas are kind of known for twins or triplets. They're very calm, they're very quiet, they're an easy goat. That's why I like La Manchas, but there's also goats that only produce 1. So when you're looking at, again, what do I want to overwinter, looking for those animals that will have the litters, so that you have more meat in your freezer for a smaller amount of space. So, and then rabbits will breed all year long. They don't take up a lot.
They sure do.
Yeah.
Man, we have a lot of rabbits.
We have a lot of rabbits. We don't even know how many babies Ebony has because she's got her burrow.
She buried them. So have you ever thought about a high tunnel? Karen was asking about that.
That's basically what we're doing right now.
That's the greenhouse.
Tossing up a little high tunnel, and then we'll be doing the self-heating one because we want fresh vegetables all year long, and we want to be able to provide we want extras to provide for our families, some people at church. You know, I want to do a small CSA for people that live near me, and be able to provide fresh all year long.
Hey, Danny.
So,
Danny going.
Hi, Danny. How are you?
It's good to see you.
Good to see you.
So sawmill. We're getting lots of that, but yeah, we do need a tractor to lift the logs to take care of that.
We need to start a fund for renting the skid loader to move the trees.
Yes.
So my son's business is actually just booming. We've had all this rain, so he actually has gotten behind. I don't know when we're going to get the skid loader here to move these trees.
Charles wants to know what your thoughts are on raising pigs.
I love pigs. Pigs are actually one of my favorite. Mm-hmm. They are the hardest for me to personally process because I like their personalities. We have the 2 babies that we picked up. We're raising one of them for us, and we're raising one of them for a friend. But next year, I'm actually really hoping to pick up a breeding pair of Kuni Coon and the IPP. So those are smaller. I do not have a big household. Right now, it's just the 2 of us. And so I don't want to really raise, big pigs. I would like to just kind of have the 2 all the time, let her have a litter, and then raise that, whatever I want to raise out of that to go to freezer camp. And then it's also something that you can make money with. You can barter or trade other people for other things. Maybe somebody's raising a cow, and then you can raise a pig and barter and trade for meat. I've actually done that in the past, and I really like that.
That's what I'm going to plan on doing. I think when I have my homestead, it's going to be small.
And the one thing about the pigs, what we're doing with this group is they'll be moved around this area. They're kind of in a portable pen, and they'll be shifted around and let them do some groundwork and work the property so that next season when we start growing, because I'll be planting all of the seeds next season, that we'll have some really good tilled up, loosed up area. And I really like being able to throw pigs into the deep litter barn, and they turn all that up and get that so that it's easier to take out. So yeah, I love pigs.
Is Randy here tonight?
Our Randy?
I don't know which Randy you're talking about. Mary's here.
Hi, Mary.
Welcome. Careful, Mary's here. She is a mod, and she does have a wrench. And now, Connie, you got backup for when your internet's not working properly.
That's funny.
Let's see.
Are there any animals that you guys have raised? What have you raised? What have you done?
Diane and Jody showed up and said hello.
Hi.
Hi. Let's see.
The one thing that I've always raised the animals, the one thing that I've only had a very small garden everywhere I've been. So this here is big garden dreams that I have. The area where we're also going to be gardening that we gardened last year, that will eventually be where the bigger house is at. Oh, thank you, Karen. Is that Karen?
Oh, that's very sweet.
Yeah, Karen. Yeah. Thank you so much. They'll be not next year, but a few years from now, that's where the actual house will go. So this area that we're prepping right now will be 100% garden and orchard.
Yep.
So
on this side, and then on the other side is going to be pasture.
Yeah. I mean, if you're in town and doing urban, if you just had your rabbits, you had some quail, the you wouldn't have to buy compost.
No.
You wouldn't have to buy eggs. You wouldn't have to buy
even a couple chickens.
Yeah, if your area would let you.
Yeah.
The rabbits and the quail, they're very quiet.
Yes.
So you can sneak those. Even if
we're not telling you to break rules.
We're not telling you to break rules, but you could.
Wink, wink, wink.
For survival, you could. And
for survival.
But you could, every tree that you planted in your property could be a fruit-bearing tree. If you look at, if that's all you can do, the price of fruit, the price of vegetables, I mean, you could survive off of that and then go hunt.
If you have a backyard and you have like grass growing in there, if you took it out and it was all just, garden.
And you could really do a beautiful garden that looks like landscaping even. So you still have that very beautiful yard.
Yes.
You're just growing vegetables, some form of vegetables or whatever. I mean, back in the old homesteading, they basically only purchased flour and sugar from the store. Everything else came off of their homestead. So, I just feel like if you can take that little bit of control back in your food and what you're putting into your body, what you're feeding your kids, it doesn't matter how little it is. If it's bucket gardening, or if it's a huge garden, or if it's just rabbits, or if you're raising cattle. I mean, there's just to me it puts you in a place of power, and having your life back.
Even beans, you can plant your own beans.
I would say get something. We really want tomatoes up here, so that's not. We don't have we're gonna get one picking off of our tomatoes. In Texas, I could plant. I actually had one beefsteak tomato plant, one cherry tomato plant, and a couple of the canning tomatoes to make sauces and stuff out of. Why can't I think of the name of those guys? Anyway, and I got enough tomatoes for me and my son to be able to have, make some spaghetti sauce and make the stuff that I wanted to make there, because of the growing season is so long. We're up here, you get one really good picking off of your plants. You might even have to set your tomatoes out, and if you don't have a fast growing tomato, you're going to be picking green, and you're going to be letting those redden, in your home, if you don't have a greenhouse. So, or you're going to be making green salsa.
Right. Right. Just Jerry's on. Hi, Just Jerry.
Hi, you made it.
We raised chickens, rabbits, and pheasants. No garden this year, but a huge one every year prior. This is just the two of us, but the senior center was very happy to have our crops.
Yeah. Are pheasants a loud bird, or are they quiet?
Yeah,
I'm curious. Question. I've never raised pheasants. Let me know, you guys, let me know of any other animals that you know of that are quiet that somebody could even have in town.
Yeah.
Because I think that's going to be, the people that live out in the country usually have a small garden. That's pretty, the sun came out. It's very squinty now.
It's right in our face.
Whose idea was it to turn this way? We have the space to garden. We have we usually can have the animals without it being an issue.
There's a lot of people saying that they don't think they could have animals to eat. I also was in that boat, and I have changed my mind.
Well, I mean, we've been friends for how long?
Oh, since I was 18.
Yeah.
And I'm 49 now, so that's math.
Yes, that's math.
That's a long time. That's a long time.
So I've always raised a process, and she has always been like, don't show me pictures of the babies.
I don't want to know.
Don't tell me that you did that. Don't, this whole time.
She would say freezer camp just to make me happy, rather than say I butchered or processed or what have you. And, you live this life, and you see that they have a great life. The animals really do. If you watch some of these things on Netflix about the way that animals that are in the grocery store are raised, it will change your mind.
Yeah.
These guys have had a great life, even if it's not the super longest life. We love them. We take care of them. We,
they get big area to,
Yep.
great. They get to do.
What
I
animals
try
do.
exactly. I try. It's why I like colony raising my rabbits. I love that they get to burrow and have their babies the way they would in nature, and they
Yep.
get to do. It makes it easier for me. I don't have to clean cages. I don't have to do any of that kind of stuff.
Yep.
What I do have to do is rake up the poo and put it in a bucket. Or if you have them in cages, you can just put the totes underneath, and all the manure will fall down into that. But I love getting to see these animals have a good life.
Mary.
And they're also, when it's time for them to go to freezer camp, it's done very quickly. There's is the least amount of fear involved and all of that kind of stuff.
So Heather wanted to know, how do I feel about it now? Well, I'm ready to take care of Stu tomorrow. Stu, the rooster is going, and I am totally fine with it. I don't even think I'm going to have to leave the property, which I've talked to Heather about many times about, hay processing, I'll have to leave.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think I'm ready. There's certain animals that, I'm more attached to that might be harder. But even with, the bunnies, they're super cute, and I feed them, and they come up to me, and I pet them. But I'm not naming them. I'm not making them pets. So it's a lot easier to. This is our food,
Well, and you learn to detach with love.
Right.
I think that's a real big a thing that we deal with nowadays. That old homesteading, my grandfather, if it was not producing or if it was not whatever, it became food. There were no free rides on old homesteads. Yep. I think I see a lot of new homesteads where there's a lot of free rides happening.
Yeah.
Bud.
Okay, now, you know what? If I had been here for a little while, Bud might not be the goat he is today. He might be food. But...
Yeah, he definitely would have been. I don't keep boys. I literally do not keep boys.
We're at our hour.
Are we at our hour? Wow.
Yes.
That went by so fast.
Yes.
Let us know real fast if you've got any questions or anything that you want us to maybe give you our opinion on. We're still finishing up our fence tonight, and we've got to figure out some dinner. I don't know what we're doing.
Yeah, we still have a little bit.
Tigger Bob, knock it off. What's he doing?
Tigger Bob. Wow, 9 p.m. and you're still going. What's for dinner? Well, it's 9 p.m. Bob where you are.
Yeah.
It is not 9 p.m. where we are.
It's 6, and we still have 3 hours of daylight.
And so we still have 3 hours, 2 hours of work.
Yeah.
An hour of eating and reading and such. Jody wanted to have chickens, but her landlord said no. Only cats allowed. You could sneak some quail in, Jody.
Yeah.
Then you have eggs.
Yeah.
And potentially food.
Yeah. Well, your jumbo quail, they're ready to eat.
Heather.
They're ready to eat in 6 weeks, and they're producing eggs in 6 weeks.
Randy wants to know, how big of a spot would a person need for a chicken?
You don't need a lot. I've got 10 chickens in this 5 by 20 area, and you just when you contain animals, you have to bring them what they need. So a contained chicken in a pen, you obviously don't want to just have one. You want to have a few, but you can have a very small area for 3 chickens, and you're basically at that point going to definitely get 2 eggs a day.
Yeah.
And then some days you'll get 3 eggs a day. So if you do an omelet once a week, that's all you need.
Yeah. And if you store them up for a few days, then you have enough for.
We have a huge amount of eggs. Yeah, I mean, we have a huge amount of eggs, and so what happens for us is we use them to feed the pigs. Once we get too many, then the pigs get eggs, and because we don't eat a lot of eggs.
Brenda, dang, it could have been another Mexican night. Don't tease me with Mexican, Brenda.
Right, Brenda?
I don't know. It's only a half-hour drive. Canes make my mayonnaise, Robert Bates says. Mary, I make it on aisle 4, Connie says. Mary must have said, oh, she did. How do you make mayonnaise?
We are starting our, maybe I'll make some homemade mayonnaise for our chicken. Our chicken dinner.
Yes. Well, it doesn't. Oh, what's your winterization plan for the animal shelter?
So we're building the barn garage, and possibility all the animals will be moved into there. Possibility the sawmill will be moved into there.
Maybe both.
It could be both. Yeah, definitely could be both. We're putting in these 10 by 20, I'm sorry, 5 by 20 pens. They'll have roofs. We'll drop some plastic down on the sides. I personally purchase animals that do well in this area, that are good in this type of weather year round. So
like the Wyandottes.
Yeah, the Wyandottes
specifically are made for this area.
Exactly, for this kind of winter weather. They do really well in the winter. So when you're researching your breeds and you're looking at your breeds that you want to get, you definitely want to take that into consideration of where you are, what your temperatures are. If you're dealing with extreme heat, then there possibly is another breed that would work really well for you in that type of environment. For us, we actually don't get extreme winters. There's a lot of people that get much harder winters than we do. As long as you can keep them out of the wind, and you can give them some bedding to hunker down into, and they're, you know, they have fresh water and that kind of stuff. So that's pretty much what we're going to do. These guys free ranged all winter long.
Good night, Robert.
And they did just fine. We had no problems with any of them, not the ducks, not the chickens. So they'll, you know, like I said, we'll probably drop some tarps down along the side, and they'll be out of the wind, so they'll be good to go. Plus they'll have a roof on top of them. They won't be directly in snow.
A bunch of people are saying good night.
Good night.
A lot of people are hanging up, getting off.
Another thing that we might end up doing, instead of doing a tarp that's a solid color, of actually just doing clear plastic, and then it'll just warm up because the sun will warm it up and that kind of stuff. So, you know, that's a possibility too.
Bye, Mary.
The goats are able
Bye,
to
Randy.
go in and out of the little goat barn. So, you know, that'll be the same as last year.
Bye, Sil.
The pigs will be processed before winter time.
No.
So everybody that's left, bye.
Bye, Vicky.
Bye, Mary. Was there any other questions? Well, I guess we're going to get back to building. Let us know in the comments after the video's done if there's a particular topic that you would like us to talk about, because we really are trying to have topics when we do our lives. It helps with bringing people to the channel because they want to know somebody's opinion on stuff, and so they jump on and they look, and then we can also, you know, talk about the things that you know, you guys bring up in the live. But we are going to try to keep them on a specific topic.
We so appreciate you guys coming and watching.
We do. Thanks
it
for
means
hanging
a lot
out.
To us.
It really does. It really does.
Good night, all.
Good night. Bye. I booped you. Okay.